Let's go already. It's late enough for the live stream. Sorry about that. I was putting some notes together, some very important stuff. Just kidding. I was actually doing a last-minute search to see who my favorite NFL team is going to pick tonight. Oh, you may think it's silly. My NFL draft. You will not believe. I couldn't even believe it. How many people are actually going to watch just night one of the NFL draft? Because it is tonight. Love him or hate him. Maybe you're not even a football fan. You're still mad at the NFL for the kneeling controversy, and I totally understand that. I totally get it. But my God, do they know how to market. They have actually made their draft must-watch TV for their most hardcore fans. And they own the entire weekend from Thursday night, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Unbelievable. All right, we'll talk about that as well. And I want to start off with that because there's more unfortunate crap happening in the news today, unfortunately. But there is light at the end of the tunnel on this one. Unfortunate part is more anti-Semitism happening on Ivy League campuses. But it's starting to get shut down quicker and quicker. Because they're afraid of the sanctions now, and they're not putting up with it. It's discussing it's even happening, but still, we'll talk about that as well. I'm also kind of sort of related to that. I'm going to give you a piece of wicked wisdom that should help you out in your personal life, because I have had it too. I have had it with anybody in the media, your personal life. Maybe you run into this at people at work, when people still just go out of the way to call the President of the United States a Nazi. I'm not even Jewish. And I'm highly offended at that, at how stupid it is. I'm going to give you a little piece of wisdom to throw at people who say that, and it's in the form of a question. 4 different options for you to shut that right down immediately, because it's time. I mean, that's the most offensive. I'm not even Jewish, and I'm offended at that. That's the most ridiculous thing of all time, and it's all coming from the same talking heads in the media, every single time. But we've got to talk about this most importantly as well. Is there a baby bonus coming? This is coming from the New York Times. They had a source from the White House saying there may be a $5,000 bonus, a baby bonus coming from the White House. Why? Because the birth rates are so low. We'll talk about that too. A little bit of business. Thanks for finding Wicked Wisdom with Bill Adams, Facebook, YouTube, right here on the live stream, which is Wicked Radio, the daily live stream, but also the audio podcast, wherever you like to download and get those. Just look for it. Look for me, and you're going to find it right there. Let's start off with something light, because it does get heavy in the middle of this. But ladies, no, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't sexualize it like that. I shouldn't divide it by gender. Ladies, guys, whatever it is, if your significant other is nowhere to be found tonight, but you hear this sound in the background, they're watching the NFL draft. And you're thinking, oh, come on. Really? Someone's going to sit down and watch some kid become a new millionaire, and I don't have anything to do with it, and watch these teams, and yes. Your answer is yes. In fact, last night, on night one of the NFL draft, you ready for this? 12 million people watched. There are award shows, season enders, premieres, streaming movies that don't get those kinds of numbers. This will be, despite anything else going on in television tonight, this will be the most watched thing, the NFL draft in night one. And like I said, you may be still mad at the NFL. I get it. There's still some hard feelings about the kneeling controversy. I understand that. Remember the whole Colin Kaepernick scam and all that other crap? I get it. I totally understand that. But you got to give them credit on how to market right, because the NFL, unlike baseball, the NFL knows how to market. And this is why they're the real national pastime. So they'll have this thing, and it'll be more just naturally growing the sport and the television show. There'll be more than 12 million people watching this tonight. Only slightly less tomorrow for the rounds 2 and 3. Then they have Saturday and Sunday for the recap. The NFL owns an entire weekend of television watching experience. And there's a reason why they place it right here. I'm going to be watching. As you can tell, they got me. Just if you hear that sound, that draft chime, you know what's happening. I'm just giving you advance warning. All right. I wanted to start light because this is still happening. First of all, I'm shocked it's still happening. But there is some good news at the end of it. There's more anti-Semitism, mostly on Ivy League campuses. This was Yale just yesterday and actually happened the night before. But Yale did a good job in shutting it down, believe it or not, even though this organized. So here's a group of morons blocking Jewish kids, and there were incidents of the Jewish kids had things thrown at them as well. And a pro-Palestinian, now they don't hide it anymore, like last year. It's pro-Hamas is what it is. Protest on campus. I wonder if it's like last year, though, where there were a lot of kids on campus that don't even go to that school. Outside influences, organizers, rabble-rousers, troublemakers. But can you imagine being a student? Or imagine, because I have a kid in college still, can you imagine being a parent of a kid that worked his whole life, or her whole life, to get into an Ivy League school and blocked from going to a class or existing on an Ivy League college campus or any college campus, and you don't feel safe, and you have these kinds of idiotic, stupid things yelled at you? You can hear this. First of all, listen to these zombies and what they're chanting. And you can hear the kid on the cell phone camera pleading with them, saying, I'm a student too. I need to go to this class. I'm paying for these classes. The lead instigator, what's her response? Well, you can go around. Yeah, okay.
He can only go around?
Public campus. You don't own this. I pay for this, just like you. I'm a Yale student. I pay tuition. This is my space too. I want to walk through.
Now, yes, you're right. That's infuriating. And I absolutely hate it as well that that's even happening now. And the kid made a perfectly calm argument, and he said the exact right things. Look, I'm a student too, and I belong here, and I'm paying for classes. Well, you can go around, says the zombie right in his face. Well, this didn't last that long last night, because check this out, and I congratulate Yale for this. First of all, I don't know how this thing organized under their noses in the first place. That's wrong. That's bad. But I will say this. Yale has now reportedly revoked the student club charter of Yaleys for Palestine. Sorry, Yaleys for Palestine, and with a 4 in the middle. After they organized last night's illegal protest that barred Jewish kids from campus. In addition, and this is the good part, all of those who participated will be disciplined. Nice to see some consequences happening, for sure, if they hold through to it and if they actually come through with this. Yes, I'm with you. It's ridiculous. It's still happening. And it's not just Yale. They're just the pinpoint of this thing. It's ridiculous this is happening anywhere. And just a little discussion with one of my daughters last night. She was talking about, she says anytime you see any kind of like Jewish or, I guess coming out of Passover as well, content on TikTok, all of the comments are free Palestine, for Palestine. This is Palestine. And you know what? It makes me wonder too, if you were to look at the crowd, like for example, this one at Yale last night and the night before, and if you were to take off their masks, that's another whole issue, and you looked at these kids, how many of them really are also supportive of LGBTQ plus whatever the things are, trans rights, all of that? You sit here and you think that you're chanting free Palestine. If you were over there, how would you be accepted? That's what I always want to know. That's what I'm always curious about. Really? Because I don't think you'd last very long, to be honest with you. I think they actually hate you. I think a big section of that world hates you. So you have no idea what you're talking about, first of all. And to actually think that you can block a kid from his class or her class because they happen to be Jewish, as if the trouble across the world, across the ocean, has anything to do with them. It's the most disgusting thing of all. So I hope all these other colleges take Yale's lead. First of all, don't let this stuff happen in the first place. But secondly, shut it down right away when it does and discipline these people. Third thing is, and I'm telling you, I know you guys think I'm beating a dead horse, but I'm telling you, before COVID happened, I will never forget how it all switched right away because of the whole mask thing, right? Before COVID happened, it was a federal crime. You can't gather. You cannot mass gather. It's illegal in masks. You can't do it because of the potential of a riot, because you can't identify those people doing it. That needs to be enforced again. That's illegal. No more masks. In fact, it should be reversed. And I understand there are people walking around who have masks on, who have, maybe somebody's sick at home or they're fighting cancer or they are immunocompromised themselves. Well, now it's reversed. You actually, if you want to walk around like that in a crowd with other mask wearers, you should have to have an ID, like we had to have with vaccination cards. That's how it should be reversed. No more mass gathering in masks. Go back to the way it was pre-COVID. That's illegal. You can't do it. As soon as there's any kind of a mass gathering and people are using face coverings, bust it up and arrest them. It's a crime because you're there for no good reason. It's an obvious telltale sign. So, all right, good for Yale, number one. Number two, don't let it even organize. Number three, this is not exactly tied to that issue, but you hear it more and more. All through the media, you hear the same thing, right? Here, and even with the Stop Doge protests a couple of weeks ago, you saw it again. We can't support a Nazi in charge of the government. It's a Nazi. He's Hitler. He's actual Hitler. Oh, my God. These are the dumbest people. And you ask them, and they have no idea what they're talking about. Like, they can't even define what fascism is. They have these are not exactly the students of history, right? I've heard it through the media, heard the dumbest things, and I, like you, have tried to ignore it the entire time. I've reached my breaking point with this when I heard Al Gore, like Rush used to say, remember? Al Gore, former Vice President Al Gore, comparing the Trump administration to the Third Reich the other night at one of his climate speeches, one of his climate crisis speeches. By the way, nobody has been more wrong about their predictions than Al Gore when it comes to the climate, by the way. He's an absolute scam artist. But, notwithstanding, he started off this speech by saying, no, it's not fair to compare anybody to the Third Reich, but I'm going to do it anyway. This is what led me to this. Here's Al Gore just the other night. Ready?
Described how the Nazis, and I quote again, attacked the very heart of the distinction between true and false, end quote. The Trump administration is insisting on trying to create their own preferred version of reality.
Kind of like the climate crisis, Al. Okay, so when that guy is drawing comparisons to this administration and the Third Reich, I'm done. I'm absolutely done. I'm not going to ignore it anymore. I've had it because it's the dumbest thing of all time. So I'm going to give you a little bit of advice here that's worked for me for dealing with people, whether it's online or just when you're interacting with somebody at work or whatever it is. And you don't have to get hostile. You don't have to push back against it. You don't have to get enraged like I do. Just fight the stupidity with questions. And I'll give you 4 different options, okay? When somebody says, oh, you support that. You support that. Nazi, do you? It's fascist. This is how you deal with these absolute morons, with questions. Here's number 1 option for you. Really? Would a Nazi work on a trade deal with Israel? That's number 1. Here's number 2. Really? Because I don't think a fascist would want to limit the size of the government. In fact, they did just the opposite and leave it at that. That's number 2. Number 3. Would a Nazi work to end censorship and promote free speech? Because that's the exact opposite of what Hitler did. That's number 3 option for you. And number 4, and this may be the most effective at all. I found that this works with idiots. It's really good. Oh, that Trump's a Nazi. Well, it's the first Nazi I ever heard of with a Jewish son-in-law. There you go. You don't have to get mad and leave it at that. And don't even listen for the response to it. Just drop it and leave it. Now, they're still going to argue with you because you can't argue with idiots. They don't even understand that they don't get it. But still, there's your counter-argument to that if you don't want to put up with it anymore. And just leave it. And the key to that, as always, he who stays calm wins when you're dealing with these people. But that was it. When I heard Al Gore bringing this up as well, I'm done. I'm not putting up with these people anymore. But you can do it in a smart way, so don't put up with them. Speaking of Trump, by the way, did you hear about the baby bonus? I didn't think this was real, to be honest with you. I didn't think this was a real thing. But the New York Times, not saying it's real because of them, but they talked to somebody in the administration who's floating the idea, and this is kind of like how all politicians work. I don't care, Republican, Democrat, whatever it was. They kind of leak it out. They give a bone to a press member. They throw it out there, and then they kind of do like a snap poll. They do an internal poll to see how it's being received among the public, to see if they go forward with the administration. It's a trick as old as time. It's actually kind of smart. Without making an official announcement, if it fails, they don't look bad, but they can get a sense for how people like it. Anyway, the idea of a baby bonus was floated out, reportedly. And again, this is coming from the New York Times. So somebody in the administration came up with this one. Here are some of the details. You ready? I just kind of gleaned this from the New York Times article. $5,000 baby bonus for moms. The goal is to increase birth rates. More on that in a little bit. White House reportedly coming up with strategies to tackle that problem. In addition to the $5,000, the administration is considering reserving 30% of Fulbright program scholarships for married applicants, or those who have children, according to the news article. U.S. birth rates have been declining for years. 2023 saw a record low, 55 births for every 1,000 women. Now, why is this relevant? For years, we were told, and I grew up in school being told this, I think even all through college and beyond, saying, it's overpopulation. It's going to destroy the earth, resources, and the overpopulation. As it turns out, and Elon's not the only one saying this, as it turns out, it's underpopulation in developed countries that could be our undoing. A lot of people look to the Roman Empire, and that's actually what did him in. Elon's been talking about this for the longest time, and everybody laughed at him at first. Not so much now. Here's what he said I think this is actually a pre-campaign speech, but it's a good synopsis of how he feels about it.
what ended most civilizations was a low birth rate. That is, an extended period of prosperity seems to cause birth rates to plummet.
It's happening. I mean, it's true. This is according to the CDC. This is the government's own numbers. That 2023 number was really bad. That was the all-time low. 50 states saw declines between 2005 and 2022. Utah, the sharpest drop. Infertility rates fell among women 35 and rose for women over 35, interestingly enough. We're not making enough babies, as it appears. So, do you think this actually, depending on how people feel about this and how it's received out there, now that the word is out about a $5,000 baby bonus, I could actually see this happening. I could see this being an injection into the, so to speak, into the economy and to the population. We'll see. But you know how this goes. Because it's coming from Trump, somehow it's evil and nefarious and it's awful. So the brain trust of The View got a hold of this information yesterday. Sonny Hostin was on there, but they were all involved in the discussion. They actually turned this into a nefarious racial thing. Ready? In her head, Sonny Hostin, one of the hosts of The View, worked this out to seem that they only want to promote the birth of white babies. Yeah. So most of the stupid things you hear people say in your everyday life, I would guess if it's not coming from MSNBC, it's coming from the idiots on The View. Here's what she said.
That increase was with Hispanic mothers and Asian mothers. So they don't seem to be concerned about that increase. They seem to be more concerned about a decrease in other populations.
Say it.
No, I think I said enough.
Based on that.
Yeah, that's where that comes from. That was Joy Behar, by the way.
Say it. Say it. Oh, yes, he's evil. Oh, God, he hates everybody but white babies.
You know that they're going to say it. So that's where. So the idiots that say stupid things like that they probably go home and watch The View. That's where that's coming from. I hope it happens for no other reason. Well, one big reason. I hope the birth rates increase for sure, and I hope young families starting out get a $5,000 bonus. I think that would be nice, but I hope it happens because I want to see Trump on stage somewhere and actually announce the plan and say, "Let's make America making babies great again." We're making babies, everybody. Nobody said it could be done. We're making the greatest babies. I don't know. It may happen. It may not. I don't know. But who the heck knows? All right. The main takeaway today: when people are, I've had it too. I'm not ignoring it anymore. When people throw out this fascism or Nazi or incredibly inaccurate, stupid, and insulting comparisons, I just throw that at them. I won't go over all four of them again, but I would use this line. Really? Well, he'd be the first Nazi in history with a Jewish son-in-law. Use that one. Remember that one. You can steal it anytime you want. It's very effective. Don't take any crap from anybody. It's Thursday already. Enjoy it if you're watching the NFL draft tonight. Are you 12 million plus? All right, we'll see. That and have a wicked awesome Thursday. Thanks again for finding the audio version of the podcast. It's on Wicked Wisdom with Bill Adams. That's where you find Wicked Radio. Also, Wicked Wisdom on Facebook and on YouTube, and always the replay right here on X. So, almost through the work week. Go make some babies. We'll talk to you tomorrow.